You got the bubble guts. Come on, bubble guts. Big wax. You got the bubble guts. Shitting on the tracks, check it. Bubble guts. When I get to the toilet, bubble guts. I'm gonna fucking destroy it. Bubble guts. I hope I'm not out of TP, cause this poo feels more like PP. That burrito that I had after work was delicious. If I farted right now, I would squirt in my britches. The large coffee probably didn't help my predicament. My stomach feels like it's got a witch in it. Mixing it around, making brew. Brown bacon stew, and it's nowhere in sight to sit down and take a poo. I can feel the hot mud getting close up to the hole. Can't wait to get home and post up on the bowl, man. But I might not make it. My sphincter muscles starting to spasm, and I don't know how much longer I can take it. I'll just let...
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and or good night. What I have presented here before you today is something that you are somewhat familiar with, which is my Ruger SP101. And I have a little story to tell you about it. This story is about tactical night sights. In this case, a Meprolight. This Ruger SP101 is pretty much my everyday carry during the summer and spring months. When it starts getting a little warm outside, this is what I tend to carry, highly concealable. I had many upgrades done to this weapon, and one of which, other than the grips and the trigger job and chamfering the cylinder and everything else, is that I had, as you may or may not be able to see that sight right there? That's one of those Meprolights, night sights with a big dot. I chose that sight because it is a tactical night sight. And by tactical, I just kind of think the word tactical has been abused lately. You know, if you move a certain way, if you reload your gun, if you breathe, wear a certain type of shoe or a hat, that is tactical. I really don't have much of a problem if the end user is calling everything he does tactical. He could be tactically drinking a cola. Everything seems to be tactical nowadays, but I do have an issue when manufacturers are calling things tactical, or they be or meant or implied that they'll be used for, let's say, severe combat environments. And that's the premise of this video. This video right here, like I said, I have a little bit of a gripe. This is hopefully the first and the last of my gripe videos, but who knows? Time will tell. This particular video is about that front sight right there. That front sight is a night sight. It's supposed to be used for combat use. I'm going to be honest with you, I had a butterfingers moment when I was handling my weapon at the range. I was handling it and basically doing something like a New York City reload, going from one weapon to another weapon, and I dropped the weapon as you're supposed to. You know, look up New York City reload. Instead of just reloading your primary weapon, you just go for your secondary. So that's what I did. I went from one weapon to the next weapon, and I dropped my weapon. I dropped my weapon at about the height of about a little higher than waist level. I'm 6'2", so right at about, let's say, 3 feet. Let's just say. I'm like, my center of gravity is like equidistant from my head, let's say. So I dropped it, and honestly, I didn't think much of it because to me, a gun is a tool. I think it should have a scuff or two on it, you know what I mean? I don't think it's a piece of jewelry. I think it's a tool, it's a weapon, it's something I use. And I think just like scars, you should have little scratches and little dings on your weapon because, let's be honest, scars are like tattoos, except for they have better stories. Same thing on this one. So I didn't really worry much about it, but then when I realized when I went home, because this one is one of the few weapons that stay by my side throughout the home, I get to look at it, and I was looking at it at night. It was a dark room, and guess what? When this weapon dropped, it obviously impacted the side of the sight significantly enough that the tritium inside of it escaped. Because if you guys aren't aware, the way these things work, there's a little piece of phosphorus in there, and inside that little gas capsule, and inside there is a tritium gas. It starts to radiate, gives off light, has a decay process, yada yada. Check out your physics books and chemistry. So what happens is that it glows. It itself emits light. Well, this glass capsule obviously had fallen, possibly impacted the ground. I went on to my next weapon, and I didn't check anything about it because I think something like this should be protected. I think this should be considered normal use for this type of site in that type of environment. And lo and behold, it's no longer glowing. There's no glowing going on whatsoever. So pretty much what I'm asking is, do you feel that I expected too much from this site? I mean, to a certain degree, if I'm training with this weapon, so heaven forbid the day comes that I have to protect my life or the life of someone else, I expect this to be here. And honestly, I found out by surprise that this site will not work after one impact. And we're talking about one impact. So I pretty much want your opinion. Your opinion is, should I expect a tactical night sight to endure a simple fall? Or am I asking too much? Or is it that Meprolight just doesn't build a quality product? Leave your comments below, and as always, be safe.
Oh no, I like these draws, but I can't poop in here, I don't like these stalls. I gotta clench it up with a lock and a chain, or else I'll take a viral shit, that chocolate rain. I'm prairie dog.